From eTown Hall in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, it's eTown, with this week's guests. From Morrison, Colorado, singer-songwriter Jobi Riccio. From Arizona, now leading the National Endowment for the Humanities, Shelly Lowe. And from Portland, Oregon, John Craigie. I'm Helen Forster. Right now, join me in welcoming our host, Nick Forster.
Thank you, Helen. Thanks, everybody. Welcome to eTown. Glad you're here. This is such an interesting time in our nation's history. So I actually want to start with a little history. In 1963, there was a group came together to advocate for the creation of a government agency that would support the arts and humanities, kind of in comparable ways to what they were doing to support the sciences. Science was already getting a bunch of dough. They thought this would be a good idea. So the thinking was that a healthy society needs both vigorous, innovative science and tech, but not to lose a sense of who we are as a people and nation. We also need the arts and humanities, and that launched the NEA and the NEH. This week, we've got two thoughtful singer-songwriters who are travelers, Jobi Riccio and John Craigie. They're paying attention, they're telling great stories through their songs, and they're sharing their journeys through life through those songs. And if anything is going to give us a glimpse of what's going on out there in this country, it's good, honest songwriters sharing those stories. So we're happy they're here. We also have the chair of the National Endowment for the Humanities as part of the show this week, very agency that was signed into existence by Lyndon Johnson in 1965 to ensure that we don't lose sight of our culture, our language, our diverse history, and our sense of who we are as Americans. The head of that agency is here with us. Big stuff this week. So up first, Californian, now living in Portland. He's released 9 records, 3 live records, 2 cover albums as well. He tours all the time. His latest record is called Pagan Church. He's talented, he's funny, glad he's here. Please welcome to eTown for his first visit, along with his band, John Craigie.
This is a song that's a new song about a thing that happened a while ago to me. Back when I first started out, sometimes no one would come to the show, and sometimes a few people would come. But one time I did a show, and there were only 2 people there. And I found out, partially through the show, that both of them were deaf. Thank you. And I don't mean for that to be funny, I just mean for that to be awkward. They were wonderful people and very sweet, and that's where this song comes from. Well, some shows are good, some shows are bad, mostly they're just strange. Tell me about your weirdest one, I will throw mine back just the same. One time 2 deaf girls were the only ones who came to my show. Try to beat that, my friend. Try to beat that, you won't. Ooh. Oh. Random house show in Montreal, and the host didn't make it. She didn't even call. I sat awkward in the living room, about to give up when in walked these 2, and they sat down, expected me to play. So I picked up my guitar, started to sing. I got through about 2 or 3 songs. They didn't even clap, they just smiled in response. And one fell asleep, so I decided to take a break, put down my guitar and walk their way. I stuck out my hand, I tried to say hi. The awake one grabbed some paper to write. Mallory, sound is all I have, but I'll come back for you. I'll come back when I've learned more. Mallory, right now, sound is all I have. Ooh. She wrote down her name was Mallory, apologized for a friend for falling asleep, told me she was deaf, that's why she was writing, asked me if I knew any sign language, and I wrote back that I did not, except the sign for pizza and the sign for smoking pot. She held the pen and wrote with a grin, what else do you need in the end? Mallory, sound is all I have, but I'll come back for you. I'll come back when I've learned more, but now, Mallory, right now, sound is all I have. I wrote down, what are you doing here? And she crossed it out, wrote, what are you doing here? I wrote back that it was my job too. She looked around at the empty room. I wrote back that I was just starting out, and it's hit and miss when you're just starting out. She wrote down, I guess that's true, but me and my friend, we came just for you. And I was speechless, I was wordless, I held the paper, but I had no response. She felt the pause and let it breathe, then wrote, if only we had some pizza and some weed. Mallory, sound is all I have, but I'll come back for you. I'll come back when I've learned more, but now, Mallory, right now, sound is all I have. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. The show was over when a friend woke up, and the piece of paper was nearly all filled up. There was just enough room for me to write, I hope I can sing to you again sometime. And I stole this melody from David Bowie. I guess it doesn't matter, cause you never know it. You told me he's your favorite, I thought that was strange, but now it makes perfect sense to me. And if I see you again, I will play you this song. You can feel the vibrations with your hands on the wood. You can read my lips, maybe just enough to make out the most important parts. Mallory, sound is all I have, but I'll come back for you. I'll come back when I've learned more, but Mallory, right now, sound is all I have, but I'll come back when I learn more. I'll come back when I learn more. I'll come back, baby, I'll come back. Oh, right now, sound is all I have.
John Craigie, welcome to eTown. Good to hear you. Good to have you here. We've been around each other some, but this is the first time you've done the radio show, so welcome. Your new record is called Pagan Church. Let's talk about our shared values.
Yeah, that sounds great. I go first? Yeah, I have a lot of shared values with you, I'm sure.
You know, I have to believe that just listening to the songs on the record, you talk about some things, for example, that used to be taboo and really aren't taboo anymore. We're sort of changing our definition of what's acceptable. What did you have in mind when you came up with the title for the record?
The title comes from a song that I think is more about nature, and I was raised Catholic, but by a Sicilian mother. So it's a very complicated type of Catholicism because she's Sicilian, so she's very private and very secretive, like Godfather stuff. So she would be like, you're Catholic, but not want to talk about it. And then, you know, some super Christian would be like, praise Jesus. She'd be like, okay, keep it to yourself. No one needs to hear that. So it was interesting. And my father was not Catholic. He was just do it to hang out with my mom, you know, whatever she says, you know.
So that's not really giving you a lot of guidance as a young person, right?
He was very analytical, so it was an interesting combination.
Yeah.
It was always this mixture of pagan influences from the music I listened to. I lived in Santa Cruz right after my childhood, and so there was a lot of that mixed with some of the good aspects of, I guess, any kind of religion of like be nice and share and all that stuff.
Golden rule kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You went to college in Santa Cruz, right?
Yeah.
Is it the banana slug?
That is what it is.
Yeah, so the strangest mascot, I guess, but
Yeah, what it is it's irreverent, and I think I've always loved irreverence. And
Yeah.
I think the fighting banana slug, I believe, is what it was supposed to be.
sounds slippery.
Yeah.
Well, it is important to be open-minded and in some ways sort of reverential when we're connected with amazing natural beauty, and to recognize that that's a powerful resource that needs to be visited from time to time and appreciated. So yeah, I get that, pagan church. I do want to ask you about something you do a thing that is designed to sort of help alleviate food insecurity.
Oh, yeah.
Warm Nights, is that what it's called?
Oh, we do a Keep It Warm tour.
Keep It Warm, yeah.
Every November.
Keep It Warm. Every November, you go out and raise some money for what? For homeless
Usually
shelters?
food banks.
Food banks,
and,
yeah.
Yeah. I had never done anything for charity because I didn't have any money extra at the end,
Right.
you know. And I learned you have to have some money before you do charity stuff. Because you never want to be jealous of the charity that you're raising money for. I had a couple of those in my early days.
Yeah. Can I keep some of the money we just raised?
Yeah. So one time I had nothing. I used to live in my Astro van, and I got hired to play a benefit at a school in Marin County, you know, and I was walking around, I was like, these kids are doing all right. I said, what is this for? She said, we're raising money to get them new iPads. The iPads are too old. And I was like, could I have one of the old iPads? I slept in my van last night. I could use an old iPad. Anyway, but Keep It Warm. Yeah, we do food banks. It's important to feed people.
I think it's one of the beautiful things about being a touring musician, and I was sort of touching on this earlier, is that whether you're sleeping in your van or not, you're traveling around, you get to see so many different places, different towns, different communities, whether it's a county fair or a fundraiser for new iPads in Marin County, or, something in the Deep South or other places. Most people in this country, at least, don't travel that much.
Yeah.
They don't get to see other cultures, other states, hear other accents. You do. You get to. And you get to tell some stories. And
people are very kind to musicians and to travelers. I learned that when I was living in Santa Cruz and I had nothing, and I was playing around, and no one was offering to let me sleep on their couch. But once I started traveling, it was the kindness. I think every musician, it's probably age old, from the beginning of the dawn of society.
Yeah.
People treat artists well, and I would just go, and I wasn't that good, but people would take care of me and feed me and give me a place to sleep. And so I've never forgotten that. It's like, it's amazing that what this society does for artists. It's really cool.
Yeah. Well, it's super cool that you're also now, because you're 10 years now in Portland or something like that?
Yeah, exactly 10 years. Yeah.
So you're part of another community that also is, at least from the outside, it seems like it's supportive and congenial, and people are looking out for each other. There's a lot of gigs.
Yeah, it's a great
places
city
to
for
play.
that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad to hang out with you a little bit and hear you play, and we're going to get back to music.
Awesome. Thanks,
Yeah.
Nick.
Welcome back, John Craigie.
These days, it's so vague as to whether you're famous or not. People ask that a lot. I have a nephew. He says, "Uncle John, are you famous?" I go, "I don't know." 50 years ago, it was so easy. There was like 5 famous people. It's like Beatles, Elvis, Marilyn Monroe. That's it. Now there's too many people doing things to know whether you're famous or not. If someone asks me if I'm famous, really the answer is it depends on who is around. And I'll give you an example of the kind of famous I am. I was in line at the post office in Portland, and this girl behind me, she goes, "Oh my God, are you John Craigie?" And everyone was like, "Who's John Craigie?" And she started to be a fangirl. It was very sweet, and she was like, "Can I get your autograph?" And I was like, "Sure." And the lady behind her was like, "Should I also be getting your autograph?" I was like, "No, don't worry."
got a song with your wife's name in it. It ain't about her, it's a coincidence. Yes, I knew her before you knew her. We never made love, we never got to. We ain't gonna, so don't worry. Unless you screw up, then sorry. Unless you screw up, then maybe. Just 'cause you bought a crown don't make you my king. Edible on the way to the store. Ain't nothing bad no more. My acupuncturist has got a tramp stamp. Yeah, put a needle in me, put a needle in me. Tell me how you went to Cabo, did a whole bunch of Molly. She say it's good for me, for my anxiety. Do a pinky punch on the way to therapy. Ain't nothing bad no more. Your mom and dad went poly, got a third down in Cali. Bring her up to Thanksgiving, make you call her Aunt Sally. It saved the marriage, no kidding. If the world gonna end, they gonna go down swinging. Nobody booed yet. If I don't jump, you can't give up till I give up. If you can see it, I can see it. Bleed from my hands, take all that you need and climb on my back. What else you gonna do? You save my goddamn life, I'm gonna save yours too. Oh yeah, I got a song with your wife's name in it. It ain't about her, it's a coincidence. Yes, I knew her before you knew her. We never made love, we never got to. We ain't gonna, so don't worry. Unless you screw up, then sorry. Unless you screw up, then maybe. I don't know you, you don't know me.
John Craigie and his band. That's Alex Radakovich on the drums, Nico Deosis on electric guitar, Aber Miller on the keys, Laurie Shook on the backup vocals. They will all be back to play some more music later on in the show. Thank you.
Your visit to eTown is made possible in part by the Scientific and Cultural Facilities District, or SCFD, one of the largest cultural funding mechanisms in the United States, supporting nearly 300 organizations in the greater Denver, Colorado area. Hey, by the way, I'd like to take this opportunity to remind you that, for your viewing pleasure, there are over 2,000 videos on the eTown YouTube channel, where you can also subscribe in order to stay up to date with our latest video offerings. You're listening to eTown.
I'm Nick Forster. You're listening to eTown. John Craigie is going to be back later to play some more music, along with his band. And coming up, Jobi Riccio is here, Colorado native, award-winning songwriter. She's got a new album out. She's going to be out soon. Right now, I mentioned that President Johnson signed legislation that created the NEA and the NEH. Big stuff and timely because it was also when civil rights legislation was happening, voting rights. Soon after that, Environmental Protection Agency was launched and others. And it was a time when I guess we all imagined that we could treat each other better and look out into the future, and that we could support the kind of ideals that would allow us as Americans to prosper and flourish. It sounds like it is sort of common sense and normal, but it's not necessarily what's happening right now. So those very agencies are threatened, laws rolled back, rules weakened, the whole idea of government questioned. So it's a wacky time. And the obvious is no longer obvious. But in the midst of all that, we are still a nation of interesting stories and language and expression, including our own native communities, all kinds of diversity that we can embrace and acknowledge as part of what makes us united as a nation. I was talking about the NEH. Our next guest is the chair of the National Endowment for the Humanities, whose job it is to celebrate, discover, and support those stories, those cultures. Shelly Lowe, born and raised on the Navajo Nation in Arizona. She's had leadership roles at Harvard and Yale and with the American Indian Studies program at the University of Arizona. And she's now got a big job at the NEH, and we're happy that she's here. Please welcome to eTown the director of the National Endowment for Humanities, Shelly Lowe. Welcome, Shelly.
Thank you, thank you.
I mentioned you grew up on the Navajo Nation. Maybe you could just tell us a little bit about the community that was your home.
Okay, excellent. Well, yat she Shelly Lowe yanisha belagana nishle nanasteja tachini bashachin belagana dashache do trabaha dashanale lo kantiel do nasha do Washington Dishagan. My name is Shelly Lowe. I grew up in Ganado, Arizona on the Navajo Reservation. I now live and work in Washington, D.C. It's a very interesting place, a lot going on right now, you know. I grew up in a very small rural community. Everybody that I knew had lived there for many years. On both sides of my family, my parents, my aunts and uncles, all graduated from the same school that I did, right? So it was one of those communities where it didn't matter what I did, somebody knew and somebody told my grandparents. So I couldn't do anything. Everybody knew who I was. But it was beautiful. It was rural, though. It was small, and it didn't give me a whole lot of sense about what the United States was.
Was your world bilingual? Were you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Schools
was,
too?
Not so much in school. I was not taught to speak Navajo, so I'm a lifelong Navajo language learner. And that was a choice by my parents. The mentality was you need to learn English and you need to learn to speak English really well. And that is the best way for us to give you the tools that you will need to succeed. Mm-hmm. It was a great upbringing, and it really has prepared me to do this job.
You're the first Native American to lead the NEH?
Yes, very first.
Yeah.
Second woman.
Perhaps you could delineate a little bit of the difference between NEH and NEA in terms of disciplines and what you support.
Everything that you do to make the art, that's NEA. All this stuff to talk about the art, that's NEH.
I like that. And so in your role, do you travel around all over the place?
I have had the opportunity to travel all across the country. I get to go into communities and see what's happening on the ground. I get to see museums, libraries, community centers, historic sites. It's been one of the most wonderful parts of the job, and it has shown me that America is such a beautiful country, and we have such great stories. It's been really great.
We don't need to make it great again.
We don't need to make it great again. We are great.
You know, in case you've just tuned in, you're listening to eTown. I'm here with Shelly Lowe, who's the first Native American director of the National Endowment for the Humanities. It wasn't long ago that the White House recommended zeroing out the budget for the National Endowment for the Humanities and eliminating the organization.
Yeah.
I suspect that'll happen again. So how do you prepare for that?
Part of ensuring that everybody knows kind of the impacts that we do is talking to our congressional members. So I've had the opportunity when I travel sometimes to be with congressional members and to be on the ground in their states and in their districts and to see firsthand and to share with them some of the funding that we have provided in their states and in their jurisdictions so that they have a good sense of, wow, this is what the agency has been doing and this is the kind of impact that it is having on the ground in our communities. We're a small but mighty agency.
Super small in
Super
comparison to as a percentage of the federal budget.
Super small.
0.003% of the federal
Exactly.
budget.
Yeah.
Super small.
We're small, but we're mighty.
Mighty, yeah.
We're committed. I have to say, I have some of the best staff ever. They are some of the smartest people in the country. They're so interested and they're so committed and they know the value of the work that we do. We just got to make sure we're telling that story and telling it loud.
We're going to try to help a little. If people want to know more and they want to find out, is there a website they can go to?
Well, you can go to NEH.gov, but what I always recommend is, we have funding nationally that we give out as a competitive basis, but 40% of our program funds go straight into our state and jurisdictional humanities council. So if you have not connected to your state humanities council, please do so because they are doing work on the ground. They're doing discussion sections, they're doing programming, they're doing things that are really important to what's happening in the communities. There are always ways to get involved with your state humanities council, and I encourage you to sign up on their listservs, get their publications, follow their social media, and then just attend some of the events that they're doing.
Every state has one?
Every state has one, every jurisdiction.
The Humanities Council.
Humanities Council.
I didn't know.
Get involved.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to learn more. I appreciate the work you're doing, and I appreciate the fact that you're connecting the dots among what are ultimately these disparate communities, disparate storytellers, disparate histories, but you're finding that commonality, that common ground, and celebrating it. I appreciate that.
We have such great stories. Tell your stories, please.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Shelly Lowe, Chair of the National Endowment for the Humanities. Thank you, Shelly. I'm Nick Forster. You're listening to eTown. As I mentioned, John Craigie and his band will be back to play some more music in a little while. Up next, Jobi Riccio. Grew up in Morrison, Colorado. You would think that with Red Rocks right there, it would be an incredibly creative and stimulating musical community, but I don't think so. She started writing songs when she was a teenager. She went to college in Boston. She worked a bunch of jobs, but then discovered that she could really get some attention, well-deserved attention, as a singer and songwriter. She won the New Song competition in 2019, and the prize was that she got to make a record at a studio in North Carolina, and she has now put out her first record. It's called Whiplash. And it's aptly titled, given all that she's been through in the last few years. She'll tell us more about that as well. She's a really strong singer and songwriter and guitar player. She's on her way. She's got her team together. We're happy she's here. Please welcome to eTown for her first visit, Jobi Riccio.
Thank you very much. Yes, I am, in fact, from Morrison, Colorado. Our mascot was the Red Rocks Elementary Raccoons, but we could have been the Banana Slugs, like a sneeze away from the Banana Slugs, probably. The first song I played is called Green Flash, and I wrote it when I was living in Mancos, Colorado, working on an organic farm and living in a converted school bus. So yeah, there's two wooks up here tonight, me and John. And Nick, be honest. But I found out that I wasn't super awesome at being a farmhand, even though I was very passionate about it. But passion doesn't actually help the farmer that I was trying to help. So then I ended up writing this song after just like a little existential crisis and then going and recording my record. This is called Green Flash.
Nobody will hear, 'cause even when I'm alone, there is always a listening ear. of the white spotlight. I wanna move to the mountains in the desert. No, they ain't too far. And sleep out each night neath the light of the ancient stars. A wild cactus flower blooming neath the shadow of the stone. I grow towards the light and just might find I'm better off alone. I'm still learning how to trust a heart that's forever changing its mind. Try to listen close to what she wants, not be too scared what I'll find. I'm dreaming of a sun-dried island off the coast of Spain, where the warm yellow light soaks the plazas like cheap champagne. Eat and drink myself silly and fill my body up with the sun. We be stumbling and singing and falling in love with everyone. I'm still learning how to trust a heart that's forever changing its mind. Try to listen close to what she wants, not be too scared what I'll find. How do I live my life more like how I thought it would be? Will I forever be chasing what's just out of my reach? Like that little green flash winking out between the day and the night. It's a fool's gold illusion, nothing more than a trick of the light. Ain't life a fool's gold illusion, nothing more than a trick of the light.
Hey, you.
Hi.
Hi.
And anyone tuning in on the radio, I am now being joined by the lovely eTones and Nick and Helen Forrester here at eTown Hall. Yeah. This is one off of Whiplash. This is called Relief.
I gotta get out of this city. It's wearing holes in all my clothes, taking the heart out of me. Taking the heart out of me. I haven't done much smiling. Just catch my train and avoid the gaze of someone I might know. Someone I might
relief.
Jobi Riccio, welcome to eTown.
Thank you.
So glad you could be here. It's been fun getting to see, get to know you a little bit over the last few years and just cross paths with you as your star rises and you have all these things that come into focus. It's just really cool. You're super talented. And I mentioned before that you grew up in Morrison, and I didn't mean to diss your hometown by saying that it wasn't particularly like a musical mecca.
Well, it's not.
Yeah. It's pretty small.
Yeah.
But you started writing pretty early on, right? As a teenager?
Yeah, I started writing around age 12 or 13.
Just poetry, or did you know it was going to be songs?
Always songs. I wrote poems, but they were bad and embarrassing. But I always loved to sing and felt pretty confident and comfortable singing. And I just loved songwriters, too.
Like who? Who were your favorites?
Joni Mitchell, Bruce Springsteen, John Prine. My parents really raised me on a wonderful, delicious, nutritious, organic musical diet. Those are really the early influences that I feel like I set my sights on.
Those are the 4 major food groups right there. Yeah.
I wish.
You did okay. One of your songs, one called Sweet, talks about boys being dead ends and girls just not batting for your team. That dichotomy and dilemma was something you were clearly aware of as a young person, right?
Totally. I wrote that song a few years ago before I cut all my hair off and started wearing spiky earrings and openly identifying as queer. And I think it's pretty obvious now. And so that comes from a time when I was feeling like a little invisible in my queerness. And I feel quite visible in it, and I'm chilling. Like,
Well, it's funny because we crossed paths in Nashville at about 1 a.m. or something at a place that you had just played. But it was really great to see you as part of your community, with people who were young, talented singer-songwriters, musicians, producers, engineers, people hanging out. And it didn't seem as if there were any limitations. Everybody was just welcome. Your talent was your entree to that community that seemed really supportive and different from what you had here. Am I describing it correctly, or are you just nodding politely?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of migration that happens to Nashville. It's kind of like the center of the spoke of a wheel that is music and touring music specifically. So there's a lot of people I knew in Nashville before I moved there. So I feel like I kind of did a little cheat. I grew up here and had to really seek out musical community for myself in a way, whereas like I just kind of rolled up to Nashville already knowing a lot of people and having done this for several years. So it was a bit more comfortable, but there's something so good about going out and finding your people. And I do think I've still had to do that in Nashville, because there's plenty of people out there, we call it getting Nashvilled, who they talk to you, but they're just looking at whoever else is in the room. They're like, that's Fiona Prine, that's John Prine's wife. Like they don't care, they just like, that is a thing that happens there, but you find your people irregardless.
Yeah. The slow arc of gaining confidence and building repertoire and writing more songs and recording and sharing that music in whatever way you can and building a following and working online and working all your social media stuff and getting people to buy tickets when you go to different towns and slowly working up to larger venues, it takes some time. And then there's, somebody who gets their tongue stuck on an ice tray on YouTube and has 100 million followers. Yeah. It just seems so insane as to what celebrity is now in this crazy social media world.
My dream was to always go out and perform for real life human people, though I like to think of myself as funny online and whatnot. And it's all just a means to an end for me. Like, I want you to be here standing or sitting in front of me, and I want to share space and time with people.
Yeah. It's beautiful. I'm really happy to get to know you a little more and share some music with you. Let's do some more.
Yeah.
Want to play some music?
I do.
Okay. Welcome back, if you would, Jobi Riccio.
never had a clue. Or probably don't bat for my team, even if they knew. Felt like a mountain, I have felt like a mouse. I've heard poison words fall out of my mouth, but I could swallow my pride and apologize. If you give me half a chance, I might try. But let me tell you, I don't know how to be sweet. I don't know how to play a cool girl fantasy. And affection's two directions, not just a one-way street. I'm just not that sweet, 'cause my heart gets scared and sometimes shows its teeth. But if I'm yours, I will love you honestly. So who cares about being sweet? Tried to be softer, more digestible. Diet versions of myself, terrified of feeling full. I've squeezed these hips into someone else's jeans, and I have said I'm sorry when I didn't mean to be. I curse when I'm angry, I curse when I'm not. I've come off too cold and I've come on too hot. So if we meet eyes from across some crowded room, I ain't ever gonna try to hide the truth. I'm just not that sweet. I don't know how to play a cool girl fantasy. And affection's two directions, not just a one-way street. I'm just not that sweet, 'cause my heart gets scared and sometimes shows its teeth. But if I'm yours, I will love you honestly. So who cares about being sweet? Who cares about being sweet? I'm just not that sweet, 'cause my heart gets scared and sometimes shows its teeth. But if I'm yours, I will love you honestly. If I'm yours, I give you all of me. So who cares about being sweet?
Thank you so much. One more time for the eTones.
Jobi Riccio from Morrison, Colorado. The record's called Whiplash, out on Yep Rock Records, along with eTones, Adam Bodine, Christian Teal, Eric Tureen, Helen Forster singing backup, Jobi Riccio.
Your visit to eTown is made possible in part by the Bohemian Foundation, building stronger communities through the bohemian qualities of creativity and imagination. On the web at bohemianfoundation.org. You're listening to eTown.
I'm Nick Forster. You are listening to eTown. I want to say hello to our listeners who are hearing eTown right now on stations like KHOL in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, 89.1 FM, on WYEP in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and on KPND in Deer Park, Washington, 95.3 FM. Thanks for tuning in. As always, if you want some more information about any of our guests or any of the things that are happening here at eTown, if you want to find out about how to get tickets to a live show here at eTown Hall, lots of stuff is online. And Don't forget about all the videos that we have on our YouTube channel, a few thousand really nicely produced videos. They sound good, they look good. Check them out. Okay. So Winston Churchill had some great quotes. He had some great quotes, some of which were fake, but well-intentioned. But a real one was this: the arts are essential to any complete national life. The state owes it to itself to sustain and encourage them. So that's just a little kicker to our conversation about the NEH and the NEA. They're deserving of our support. And so as the conversation changes in the coming months and years, and they come onto the chopping block, just remember that they're important. Okay, we're moving on. Would you please welcome back to the stage John Craigie.
This is my first eTown, and I want to be invited back. So I don't want to blow it. And you know, it's a radio thing, so they don't want you to say any bad words, and that's good. I've done pretty good. This song has some bad words, but I'm gonna do a good job of editing myself. I got good practice. I was schooled as a little boy. I didn't have cable, and so I would watch all of the movies on regular TV, and they would be edited for TV, which is a weird thing when you're a little boy, because I didn't know the original movies. So some of the expressions that they would overdub made no sense to me. You know, I'd be like watching RoboCop, and they'd be like, "This mother flower," and I'm like, "What?" "We're gonna kick his jazz." I was like, "What is going?" Anyway, so I'm just gonna try to. I'm gonna try to add myself. There's one part where I do a lot of and just no, I'm saying some pretty sweet words, but.
I got my wings clipped, I got my Trump check, supposed to last me through the apocalypse. Put it all on, some left it as a to him it might depends, oh yeah. Well, I don't give about the burning bush. Noah's Ark or two of every animal. Is this a new flood? Is this the new plague? Is this the rapture or just the first wave? My lungs are clean, at least today. I fill them up, Lori, roll me a chain. With Emma anymore. She got too many chickens in her backyard. Took the urban farming thing a little too far. They wake me up each and every hour. She kiss her housemate, it's more convenient. What with the lockdown, what with the COVID, it's too much drama for me to play. Oh, I stay at home, Lori, roll me a chain. Oh yeah. It got crazy, you lost your mask, running away. Your friends got paranoid, come join my scene. Make love for 2 weeks, we say it's quarantine. Don't call me sugar if you won't taste it. This summer heat has got us sweating opiates. We watch the sunset from our cage, front row seats. Lori, roll us a J, come on. Named C two-seater. I had to get away. She was fine as hell, but she was too new age. She do that Wim Hof, don't take no hot showers. But I'm a bad boy, I need them hot showers. She got a crystal for every disease. Secure the COVID, she said it's 5G. Won't get the vaccine, cause of the tracking chip. Hell, they can track me, I ain't doing. Track me on my couch, track me in my bed, track me texting you, track me left on red, track me in my yard, putting my life away. I like smoke a lot and roll me a J. My wings clipped, I got my Trump check, supposed to last me through the apocalypse. Thank you so much.
Nick Forrester, everybody, on the guitar.
John Craigie, along with Alex Radakovich on the drums, Nico Dosis on the electric guitar, Abram Miller on the keys, Lori Shook on the backup vocals, John Craigie. We got time for one more song. We're gonna do one more song. We're gonna get everybody out here. I want to thank all our guests. Of course, thanks to John Craigie and his band for coming out from Portland. They have more shows, so check out that website and you can find out where he'll be playing next. Thanks to the eTones, to Helen Forster, thanks to Jobi Riccio, thanks to Shelly Lowe from the National Endowment for the Humanities for being a part of our show. Jobi came all the way from Nashville. We're gonna do one more song. This is a new one for me. This is a song from the 90s, a short-lived band from LA. It's good. You're gonna like it. I'm Nick Forster. Hope you can be with us next week right here in eTown.
That my life is pretty plain. I like watching the puddles gathering, and all I can do is just pour some tea for two and speak my point of view. But it's not safe, it's not saying, well, I just want someone to say to me, oh, 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 I'll always be there when you wait. Oh, yeah, yeah, you know I like to keep my cheeks dry today. So stay with me and I'll have it made.
This is a production of eTown.